Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. I'm Crystal, and this is my good buddy. Ooh, wrong way. Good buddy Thom. It's nice to be back with you guys. Poop and bleach free this week. That was ridiculous.
Sorry. The my computer was being odd and didn't want to give me any sound this evening. So
I just thought Thom was really mad at me because I was talking to him and he was just staring at the computer screen.
Oh, what up, Glenn? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been less than 24 hours, I think. You should go check out the What the adaptation. Like, first of all, if everyone isn't checking out What the adaptation, you should do it anyway. But they were doing a live D&D play yesterday, and I guest starred as a Hollyphant. And if you don't know what a Hollyphant is, have you ever heard people being like, "Oh, you see the pink elephants flying around"? It's a little feathered pink elephant.
Oh my god, that's adorable. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that.
Yeah, I'll see if I do have the picture still in here. I did a voice and everything. That's her. Her name is Lulu.
Oh my gosh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. She had like just a short appearance.
Very nice. I brought this guy with me tonight because I reclaimed him. He was stolen by a 3-year-old, and when Christmas came and there were more gifts, I was able to sneak him away. We'll see how long it lasts. But he's going to hang out with me tonight.
I mean, he might forget about it after a little while. I don't have any stuff. Yeah, my Erin got me those little. I forgot to bring it in here. Those like reversible, like happy face, angry face things.
Oh yeah.
She got me an Appa one and a Momo one.
Oh, that's cute.
But I left it in the living room where I was sitting on the couch because that's what I do.
My favorite gift was a new murder mystery. So, brand new murder mystery game. I love doing those.
Those are fun. We have a couple of escape rooms in a box that are pretty fun.
Sorry, I'm eating my Skittles.
That's fine. I just finished my entire bag of Linder white chocolates because I have no self-control.
Mm-hmm. No, this has been only my bad. So.
Well,
it's the holiday season. What the hell? It's not the New Year yet.
That's fair. There's always an excuse that I can make up at least.
Shame.
And our friend, our boss is here as well.
Yay! Hi, buddy.
Hanging out. He's sleeping on the job right now, but he knows everything that's going on.
Oh my gosh, Glenn, I love Nestle Crunch bars. Those things are so good. In particular, the like mini ones that you get at Halloween. I don't know why, but I think they taste better. Same with mini Reese's peanut butter cups. I only eat the mini ones. I don't like the full size one. All
right. Well, speaking of mini ones, because Ariel is a little tiny person. Well, compared to me, she's a normal size person to regular people. But I like standing next to her, especially when we're in cosplay, because I can just like right here. Anywho, let's go. Let's bring her in.
Look, here comes an awesome guest.
Yay! Hello.
Hi.
I am actually 5 foot, so I am small to most people.
Yeah, well, I mean, fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I thought I was 5'1", and then I got the bad news that I'm 5'0", and there's a whole world that I don't get to see that I thought I was seeing.
Was it a doctor? Those guys are assholes.
They are.
I lost half an inch earlier this year, and I was like, you know what? Kiss my ass.
When did you lose your inch?
I don't think I ever had it. I think I was always 5 foot, and it's just down from here. Yeah, I mean, maybe a chiropractor will help a little bit.
That's fair. I haven't been to a chiropractor in like a year. I probably should.
Yeah, with all the art, I've trimmed it too long, so my neck's all messed up. So I have to.
Yeah. Well, you're always. Do you have like a? How do you do your digital art? Are you like kind of hunched over doing it, or do you have? Like,
I do it right here. And I have my
tablet
right here.
That's cool.
There you go.
Smacking stuff around.
I draw right here. And it's supposed to be ergonomic, but it just also being 5 foot, it's really hard to find a chair that all the built-in ergonomics are not in the wrong spot for me.
that's fair.
I had to find a petite gaming chair.
A petite gaming chair.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then I have like a little booster thing under the chair for my feet, and so they're not like dangling off the chair.
That's cute.
So I try to do this, but I find as I like start to concentrate, I start doing this because
and then the only thing that pulls you out of your concentration is like when you notice something starts cramping up, or at least that's what happens to me.
Yeah, I just recognize that I'm like, wait a minute. Oh no.
This is gonna hurt later.
Stripping it. Yeah.
Ah, man. Well, are you working on anything in particular at the moment that may be of interest to our folks?
Yeah. Well, I'm finishing up some commissions from the year, and right now I didn't send you any previews of this one, but I'm doing I've been reading ACOTAR, and it took me a while to get into the series. But I was the first book is awful. But getting to I'm on the third now, and so I was just kind of in this mood for this really dark fairy piece. So I'm doing this like Ice Queen fairy that's so I'm doing that big glacier behind her, and I'm actually really close to done, so I'll be sharing that soon. On Patreon is where you see all the updates.
It's in the chat. I put it
right now. So, and it's on the lower end, so is where I do updates.
Yay.
But on the higher end of stuff, I'll also be sharing it behind the scenes on some of my Wheel of Time art tomorrow.
Ooh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, I do it once a week, once a month, where I do a really in-depth behind the scenes of like how something was made that I worked on in the series.
Well, speaking of the your Ice Queen, hold on. I have right here in the background.
Yeah, there's the crone that I did. Yeah.
But just so we could show it better to the people, there we go. Ooh. The model for this one was our dear friend Jenna.
Yeah.
If you know Jenna, or if you've seen her at JordanCon, you could definitely see her in the face there.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever had somebody ask to be made older. Because usually people ask like, "Hey, can you make me look younger? Smoother face, prettier, whatever."
Yeah.
But it was the first time I'd been asked to make them look a lot older, and I was like, "Jenna, that's
absolutely
really hard."
Gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, it was one of my favorite pieces. It was really fun to do. The winter goddess Calais, the Irish goddess of the coming of winter. She's actually not bad, but she is the basis for the crone.
Yeah. Or the Winter Queen Mab, or the million other versions of that lore that we have.
I am not offended by how often you use my Gwaine art in terrible memes, because I hate that piece and I hate Gwaine. So use it as you like. I'd love to redraw it. Actually, I'd love to redraw him. I was never happy with that one, but it was a lot of art in a very short span of time, so I had to let it go sometimes. Yeah, you don't have to stop. It's okay. I like, tag me if you can. I know I've got a huge Reddit following, and I'm not even on Reddit. My partner runs into my art all the time. But yeah,
we always try to make sure whenever we see it somewhere, we always try to make sure we share the website. So if you do see it around, just share that website that we just posted in chat and be like, don't forget, you can buy some of this art over here.
Yeah. And I love to see the memes. So like on Facebook,
they're hilarious.
Tag me. I've seen some really raunchy Landfair ones that are pretty great. I save all of them in a folder because I think you're not successful or famous until people make memes of your stuff. So
perfection. Well, especially in the Wheel of Time community, you'll definitely see lots of memes.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only picture you sent me. You sent me a bunch of other ones, and I want to
I say like 10.
Look at them.
It's hard to narrow down.
Yeah. This one's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So I love witches. I love witchy stuff. And that's kind of my fun. These are all the witches that I do are fun pieces, but I have lots of them, and I'll continue to do them every year. I eventually would like to have enough to just have a witch's calendar.
really
Last
fun.
year I did a witches and dragons calendar.
Ooh, I would buy that.
This year is witches and fantastical dynamic women.
Ooh, that's
Hmm.
cool. This one is one of my favorites. This one actually we got from you from Jordan Con, I think 2 years ago or last
This
year
year.
maybe.
I finished
Was it this year?
Yeah, I finished it right before Jordan Con.
Okay.
Wow.
Then it was this year. And my friend who's staying with us, this is one of the only of her pictures that she had up that made it through the flood that she had.
I'm so
This is
glad.
one of
so
the
sad.
last pieces of art.
Well, it's
That-
called
that-
Brewing Joy, and
Yeah,
I think
perfect.
that's pretty apropos.
Yeah. Look
Yeah,
at the
I
key.
loved making this piece. I spent like a week and a half just on the jars in the background
Ah, they're-
behind her.
I was gonna ask, like, you know, I mean, obviously she's the focal point and everyone looks to her and the cat, but like all of that stuff in the background, it's like
the
there's
herbs,
so
the
much
book,
detail
yeah,
and the
it's
herbs and
gorgeous.
the books and everything. Like
I had to stop myself from creating titles for every book.
that's what I was gonna ask. Like, where do you draw the line? Like, how much do you put it? Like, is there so much stuff that like you put in so much work and things that that people don't notice? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I put it there. I mean, partly I put it there because that's my vision. But I put it there also because it's really fun when people come back later and they're like, oh, I noticed this thing, or it's my favorite piece. With the Wheel of Time stuff, I did that all the time. I would put in like a lock of hair or like a signet ring or just lots of symbolism for characters. And I still have people come up and be like, I've had this on my wall for years and I just noticed this little piece. And
That's fun.
but I am trying to make myself like, move on. Okay, move on.
Oh,
Like I have to finish this one so that I need to do so that I can start another one.
Yeah.
I
And the more
gotcha.
realistic I get, the more I start to slow down. So I gotta
Oof.
pace it up,
Well,
you know?
completely unrealistic, I guess, because there's no dragon, sadly. But freaking
Yeah.
awesome piece. This is
Thank you.
gorgeous.
Yeah, I really wanted to do crystal refractions and like a dragon in a crystal cave. And of course, that was extremely challenging, but I like to torture myself. Dragons are some of my favorite things, and I actually surprisingly didn't get to paint many of them with the Wheel of Time, so I was really excited to start painting more dragons.
Yeah, I guess this community has no
I mean,
idea how that would be, right?
It's no wonder that I liked working on that series, is all those details.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
One of my favorites. You know, and that face I based on Callisto from Xena.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I can see that.
Because she had the best, like, really pretty but like crazy eyes, like that I'd ever seen, like in any actor. She just really had this look. But I did the lighting based on Morticia, that key light.
Okay, yeah, absolutely see that. And we just did the Addams Family not like a couple of weeks ago, and yeah,
I wanted to have
I could
that,
totally
like,
see that
classic look.
Oh yeah, the hands too just are gorgeous. Like the way she's holding her hand here is like she's like trying to like grab her cuff almost a little bit, but the detail on the knuckles and the veins and it's gorgeous.
My downside is that I end up painting all these dresses that I wish I could own. I'm not very good at sewing.
And speaking of the details, like there's a ton of details in this one. Here's one where you can like really like just keep finding little things all over the place.
Yeah, these were the transition posters that I did, and there's 7 of them where I did from one side to the end was kind of the beginning of the book to the end of the books, or close to the end of the book. So yeah, he's got the rubies and you can always know that all these pieces were super fact checked by Team Jordan. So they will be correct in their detailing based on the book series.
That's awesome. I'm sure Maria really got a kick out of this one, seeing that Matt's her favorite character.
We emailed back and forth a whole lot, and it was really fun to work with her and Alan and talk with Harriet about everything at the end. And I originally actually had the background orange. It was like this sunset kind of thing, but I thought it was
I just noticed the hand too.
Yeah, I did too.
It was cooler to do the blood to night, like I get that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then our boy.
Yeah, he was the first one of that that grouping. I was starting to fall asleep, and just got that image in my head and was like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to bed." So I quickly did a mock-up of it, and then I went to bed. And but you can see everything from his hand is actually severed.
Yep, it's like a ghost hand.
Yeah, it's actually severed and dead. And there's a lot of details on that one. I went back later and actually fixed the sword because it's too thick. And some of the parts of the handle are messed up. But yeah, he's got the dragons on both, and I just like the idea of his clothes kind of burning away, and all the formalities burning away, but Rand still being such a strong force. But I wanted also to show that like his burden was heavy, so he had, very shadowed eyes, and he's actually crying in that.
Yeah, I could see that now too. Yeah.
And I got the swords wrong on his the crown of swords. First, I had them all. I had them
pointing
all
in one direction.
One direction, yeah. And Alan was like, "No."
Oh, okay. That's an interesting little detail. Like, oh no, they actually point in different directions. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, and that's D&D portrait commission that I did. So I do a lot of D&D commissions, like people's characters.
Little guy.
And you probably see the cat one a lot because I've cropped that one out, and I've done the peacock cat a bunch of times. Yeah. But that was actually her familiar cat, and that's the full piece. But most people have seen the cat.
Okay. Oh, well, I mean, this would make a great image in and of itself.
Just the way the light like shines through the cat's ears, like that detail is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that part has actually won awards. I've put it in, and it's been in the anthology as well at JordanCon.
Award-winning artist Ariel Burgess.
I am. I have to say that sometimes out loud, and in the mirror.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't need to remind yourself because, oh my God.
Well, imposter syndrome.
This one looks a little familiar.
Yeah, it was a model that I ended up drawing, but it's actually a 5 group of all women's D&D group, which was really cool because I hadn't run into just a women's group before. And this was all their characters, and they wanted it done like a movie poster.
Okay, I could definitely see a movie poster out of that.
Yeah, so I actually did titling and everything for them.
That's cool.
Yeah, that one is available. The peacock cat is available. It's on my print shop.
Okay. Yeah, I will share the website again in chat so that if anyone wants to go and check out any prints or anything like that. This one's awesome. I love I just passed.
She's my favorite.
Yeah, the bard. Yeah. It's the attitude in the face. I love it.
Yeah. It's
I just passed. She looks like the bard kind of a little bit from Baldur's Gate because I just passed that bard. And
yes,
they have similar skin tones at the very least.
Yeah. I painted it in 2020, but before the game came out. But yeah,
before the game, yeah.
It was really, really fun to do these. And it was fun to do the style where you could actually see a good portion of my line work. Because normally with the realistic stuff, I tend to paint over the line work so you don't see it anymore. But it was nice to just kind of have that, have it incorporated. I mean, like it's not on the cape at the bottom, but it's on all of her armor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It looks freaking awesome. Oh.
And I have
disgusting how awesome it is. Oh, and then our friend again.
Yeah.
The crone.
Oh. This one's from this year.
This
is a redo from a commission that I had. And I wanted to make it into, it was actually a children's commission, and then I reused the tail and repainted the whole thing, and made her an adult, and I wanted to do this kind of seashell.
The water is crazy. How hard was it to do the water?
So tough. That bottom corner was like, I did that so many times, and I still don't think it looks good, but I was just like, I gotta let it go.
Gorgeous.
I mean, it looks almost photorealistic, like the foam in the water, like here, just looks just really good. It's random, so random yet still like looks.
Well,
I don't know, like It's good. It's great. It's so
Yeah, that's
good.
why I love digital, because I'm not very good at random, and so I can create brushes that are,
That's
and
fair.
then kind of build off of that. Yeah, I made a lot of brushes.
And then
for
there's
that
your
one.
calendar.
Yeah, that's the
Aw.
cover of this year's calendar.
Yay.
Dragons and Dynamic Women. That's a pretty new piece. I finished that one last January. It's called Celestial Camaraderie.
Oh, that's so nice. I love the aurora that you got going on there.
The trees took me weeks. I actually had to, and I live in Minnesota, but I was having such a hard time. I would literally go outside and stare at the evergreens that were covered in snow. And I was like, why can't I replicate you?
Son of a bitch.
I had to make an entire brush pack just for those trees, and you can actually get it on my Patreon.
That's cool. The brushes that you use for these things. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
all I could think about when I see the trees is Bob Ross making his happy little trees.
Yeah, I didn't have a fan brush.
Well, I mean, freaking gorgeous is what those are. They're freaking gorgeous. I mean, as is pretty much everything that I've ever seen of yours. Which is why you are prominently hanging pretty much all over my house.
Yeah. It means a lot to me, and it's really cool when I know that friends have my art in their house. And sometimes it's weird. Like I just spent some time with a friend in October, and he's bought so many of my paintings that it was like all of the art was mine. And I was like, this is weird.
It's like all of it.
But I was looking and going, I should print you a bigger version of that because it's too small for that wall. Like
the and then if anyone has ever been to my I think it's just this. If you go to my website, my banner art is also yours. The one that you sent me just kind of randomly out of nowhere. You were like, here.
It was for your birthday, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right. That's what it was.
Yeah, I had a day where I was just like, I need to do some warm-ups. And then I was like, oh, it's Tom's birthday and some other friends. So I just did a bunch of quick sketches. Yours was awesome. The most fun.
it's been my banner on my website for a few years. And awesome. I use it for as a avatar in a few different places too, because it's so awesome.
Yeah, I should do another one. You're easy to draw and really fun to draw. I mean, the DeSantos poster painting in the background is beautiful. Yeah, I was doing a piece on the other side of him, like looking at that going, oh man, I should just stop. Like, he's so good. But mine was color pencil and his was oil painting. And, yeah. And it was actually the last Wheel of Time piece I ever did officially.
Oh wow.
That's sad.
It was my Osmodean.
That's sad. Well, I mean, there's always the future. Hopefully maybe something we can get everybody draw Tom. No.
Hashtag everybody draw Tom. He should be our model for every charity art gym.
You would have so much art, Tom.
Yeah, that's true. I would have to buy all of it too. When Dan messaged me when I was in the middle of a panel and was like, I want to draw you for the charity art jam. And I was like, but he was like, I have to take a couple of close-up pictures of your face because I have some of you, but I need a close-up picture. I was like, I'll be right there. I just sprinted across JordanCon. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to share the link for our watch party. So, and then we're going to BS for a little bit while people get ready. So just in case, if anyone wants to watch in the watch party, did we find out, does it work in Firefox, Ariel?
I did get it to work. Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Because I couldn't get to log in on Chrome.
Okay. So it works in Firefox, Chrome, and Mac browsers. The Teleparty watch party app, you do need to have your own Amazon account to log in. But if you want to if you have other means to watch it, which I'm sure are completely legal and not pirating it from anywhere, I will share a countdown clock in a minute, and you guys can watch it via the countdown clock, or you can sync it up and watch it like that. There it is, and there we go. Gosh, yay! Countdown clock. Okay, so we'll give everyone another couple minutes. So what are you said you were working on? Oh no, I already asked you that, and you said you were working on another thing.
Ice Queen, yeah.
The Ice Queen thing, and that's how I brought the crone up.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, well, this one she's a bit younger, and she's got some pretty nice cleavage, which is always really fun and actually very difficult to paint. So because you have to have the right amount of softness, but still have form and shape and weight. So
that's interesting. I never thought of it like that.
that.
That reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend of mine who did 3D animation for a video game, and one of the it was like a mobile video game, and I don't know what it was, ridiculous. But one of the character models was a naked dude, and they were trying to model his testicles, and they were like, no, they were having a discussion during a meeting about the appropriate amount of jiggle that they needed when they ran.
You think about these things. I mean, when I was doing a lot of the Wheel of Time art, like thinking about the time periods in which they're basing the clothing. Well, if I'm doing like men's pants, you're gonna have like, you're gonna see like he's got a cod piece, like
Yep.
and he's got ties to undo, and I got asked that at one of my first panels, a costuming panel about it, and somebody was like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "Well, he's got to pee." Like he's got to be able to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, they didn't have zippers.
Like, but I think about this stuff.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, if we're going completely book accurate, no one has to go to the bathroom ever.
Ever.
Yeah,
Not one
ever.
time.
Ever.
We just pretend that they do.
Yeah, that was my favorite. One of my favorite things in season 2 was when Lan went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just like, yes, finally. I really hope that Rafe like said something about that. Like, it was like, this is a thing in the book, so people are going to think it's funny. Like, I hope that somehow made it to the cast, so they understand why we needed that.
Yeah, well, and even the first sex scene, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yes.
Finally. Like,
Yes.
They're
not Puritans.
Yeah.
Too many fade to blacks. And also like the puritanical kind of way that the Two Rivers was a little icky, looking back at it, the way like they were naive. They're like, oh, if Nynaeve catches you, she'll haul you off to be married before the night ends, before the day ends. Or something.
But it's not untypical for the time period.
Yeah.
He's kind of basing it off of. And
yeah.
For the longest time, like women, I mean, still today are subjugated. So it's, I mean, it makes sense. And Jordan didn't do sex scenes. I mean, you guys probably know this. Jordan didn't do sex scenes because Harriet said he was bad at them. So
yeah, I mean, she told the monkey the I forgot, what is it, the monkey story, when there was like he did a sex scene involving a monkey in a book, and she made him cut it out. Yeah, and she told that story when we did our marathon rewatch of season 1, like whatever that was now, a year ago. That day is blended together in my head because I was barely.
It's a very long day.
Yeah, it was a very long day. But
oh my gosh, you have the cutest kids shirts. These are adorable.
Oh,
sorry.
You're looking at the website.
I was looking at the website.
I was like, where?
What's happening? There's no shirt. She's wearing a shirt. Stop saying that she's wearing kids' shirts.
It's fourth wing. Yeah.
Oh, I may be small, but I can help. These are sorry.
No, that was one that's actually my handwriting. That was one I just drew up because I am small.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, they are cute.
Thanks. I need to actually update my stores.
So do you have, before we jump into the show, do you have any kind of background in D&D or tabletop role playing? Like, or is it just like a Vox Machina?
Mostly, playing D&D with friends. I grew up with family playing D&D, and I mean, since I was a kid.
That's awesome.
And my older brother played and with friends, and I would hang out at the table before I knew to play, or play like a goblin character or something. But I was like, other people need to do the math for me, And then I got older and played, and I started doing commissions and started doing D&D commissions for people. And I used to sit and draw at the table their campaigns. So it was just
that's awesome.
A progression thing. And
I wish I had family that played D&D. I didn't start playing D&D until like the beginning of high school, I think. Well, it wasn't even D&D. It was the Wheel of Time tabletop game.
Yeah, I had a super nerdy family. I mean, I was going to the Ren Fair since I was a little kid, and we did Dagger Here, which is like live action. It's like it's LARPing. Like you actually like show up in armor and fight and stuff. Like
Yeah.
super nerdy. My parents met in like a science fiction club in high school, so it's
Oh,
just like
awesome.
That's
super
awesome.
nerdy people. My dad
That's
speaks
amazing.
Klingon, and it's very embarrassing.
I love it.
So yeah.
Oh man,
so I
if
grew
I
up
ever
with,
meet
like,
him,
yeah. Well,
I'm
he
gonna have to
helped
brush up on my
actually.
Klingon.
Yeah, he helped to actually create the language, as he was a linguist. So he worked on that. So it's very embarrassing having your father sing Klingon opera to you. But I remember being little and like helping him make the chainmail for his like
That's so
his
cool.
suits. Yeah, but
Genetically nerdy.
and my mom was a painter, so I had and my dad was a cartoonist, so I had
That's so cool.
Frank Frazetta art on the wall, and
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that half the women on the art on the wall were like naked until I was older because it was just so artsy.
Yeah. It's just that's just the picture that hangs on the wall.
Yeah, it was just like, she's cool, she's got a unicorn, and one day I was like, is she naked? And she was like, yeah, she's always been that way. Like,
All right, okay.
I was like, okay.
All right, so I'm going to press play on our show. I'll give everyone a little countdown. So if anyone is watching with the timer, you can follow that way. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Yeah, they're lined up.
Yay.
And I again always suggest to put on the subtitles. It's helpful. So we met Keyleth last time when Cooper was on.
Mm-hmm.
She's your Keyleth.
Mm-hmm.
She was awesome and gorgeous.
Yes.
Are you also as large of a Vox Machina fan as he is?
Yeah, we watched it. We actually watched it together, and then I ended up watching it on my own again. It's one of those shows I've actually watched over and over.
This has been a show, like, I've watched it over and over for this, but it's not like, I don't think any of the shows that I've watched for this have been tiresome. The only show that I really didn't want to watch over and over again was the live action Avatar, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is easily a show that I can watch over and over. Oh God, very Feywild, this place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little darker. It's like a little bit rougher.
I love the Fey place though.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I like the Feywild in D&D, and the way that Mercer did it here is, in my opinion, a little bit better. It's a little bit more what I imagine the fairy to be. Like the one in D&D is more like like a little Dr. Seussy like fairiness. It's more like happy and fun fairy instead of like the thin veneer of like good over the top of like horrible things happening, which is usually what the Feywild or the Fey realm is in like a lot of books and things.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean, that's what they were mythologically.
Yeah, exactly. And the way Mercer does it in this is a lot of fun, and the artists are great. The animators for this show are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they do actually. I mean, I haven't finished listening to the campaign, but it would be great to hear a lot more of the Fey realm in this series, because they do just such a cool job with it, and there's so much mystery to it. It's like, I want to know more, you know.
Did you know that I think I talked about it with Cooper too, that the animation artists here, which is something I would assume would be interesting for you, is the same animators and the same artists that did the 1990s and early 2000s DC TV shows. So
it's so, and you can tell in their, I mean, these look a bit better than those did just because of time and skill set, but again, like, incredible animation, and it's something that I hope that we as human beings fight to keep, because AI is trying really hard to replace hand-drawn animation, hand-drawn anything, all art forms, and it's soulless.
Absolutely.
You can see so much life in the way these characters move and expression, and
we have to support real artists.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm hoping it doesn't become like one of those. Exactly. I'm hoping it doesn't become one of those things where it's like like a niche thing, like, oh no, the art on my wall is human done, but it's
Yeah.
like only, you know, like it's like a niche thing that people like instead of just being the norm. Like I get AI in things to be used as a tool, especially for people with like disabilities and stuff like that. But when people start creating entire things
Yep.
Yeah.
with
Well,
AI, and especially when the AI is trained on non-public domain things.
right. And that's the thing, is there is no ethical AI. It is
Mhm.
all trained on without consent on
Mhm.
things that people made. And I actually will argue against the disabilities argument, because a lot of artists become artists, and a lot of self-employed people become self-employed because they have disabilities that make it hard to be employed. So these things are stealing from disabled people most. There are plenty of people without hands and feet that do art.
Yeah, yeah. Less on the art side and more on other AI.
Yeah.
Like not AI art, but like, you know, AI
Sure.
chat programs and
Oh, they've had to start giving us trainings like in the school district on it because there were legitimately special education teachers writing IEPs through like using AI technology, which is not okay.
Yeah. And it's tough because it's
you don't really need it spelled out in this show. The subtext is evident, especially if it's
Yeah.
coming from Scanlan.
Yes.
Speaking of Scanlan, there he is.
Yeah, I've actually, I don't know if it's I've got an older thing, but I kind of watch stuff with subtitles all the time these days. I used to hate it because I would constantly read the subtitles instead of listen, but I just randomly don't hear stuff, or I don't like it. The word, I have dyslexia very badly, and so the words will jumble, and I'll be like, "What did they say?" So if I can see it, it makes more sense to me.
Yeah. The exact same way. We speak the same language. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we get along.
Yeah.
And it's not just because you're awesome.
Well, and because we're both Aries.
Yeah, well, that too. Erin is one that hates having them on, which is frustrating sometimes for me.
Yeah.
But I usually watch like if we watch things, and especially if it's something I haven't watched before, and I feel like it would be better with subtitles, I usually just watch it again later with the subtitles.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's there's a lot of shows like this one, you don't need it as much, but there's a lot of shows where they're talking so quietly, but then if you turn it really loud, it like, you know, the neighbors are gonna call the cops on you. You know?
Yeah. Or if the like a lot of the things where it'll be like certain scenes like are lower than other scenes.
Oh yeah.
And then if you have ads, forget about it, because the ads are always like 5 times louder than the rest of it.
Yeah. And I do understand why that happens, is that when they do sound calibration, they have to calibrate it to the loudest thing. And so if there's explosions a lot, like they calibrate it to that, and then you don't hear other people talking. But it's really hard if you have a dyslexia, or I have a friend who has or auditory processing issues.
Yeah.
And he has to have subtitles on because he can't. Like, he has to have subtitles on when he's talking to people. Like, so he reads lips
Not yet,
a lot.
at least.
Yeah, he reads lips a lot. So,
yeah.
To answer more. I know that Rafe saw my art. I know he's seen it actually multiple times.
Yeah.
He commented on some of my Instagram stuff when I did some of the, I drew some of the actors as their characters before the show, any of the stills came out. Because I was excited. And
yeah.
But he commented something about like really wanting Egwene's belt that I had designed, and I was like, cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we do know that he has at least some of. I say some, but I know he at least has your art and Joe O'Hara's art hanging in his office, or was in the writers' room for season 1.
Yeah.
If they're still in this, they're still in Europe where they're doing it. So if they're still in the same place in England where they're doing it, then it would still be there. I'm sure. Yeah,
they we actually Tavern Teas sent a big care box when it was announced. The only address that he could give us was his mom's house, so we sent it to his mom.
Oh wow!
And then he got it.
His mom is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty cool. So I know that he's seen my stuff and commented on some of my things.
I'd love to interview her. She seems like a lot of fun. Kathy and Jason got a chance to hang out and talk to her during the blue carpet event for season 1, and
Mm-hmm.
they said that she was a lot of fun. And the little bit of recording that I saw of her kind of giving him shit a little bit, like talk,
Yeah.
like, you know, it was funny. She seems like she would be a good time. Plus, she's the one that exposed him to Wheel of Time when they were.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
He's got good taste.
yeah. It's funny because my mom she introduced me to so many fantasy books, but
Oh
she
yes,
didn't introduce me to this series. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that one was I took the card art that I had and then painted over it and then repainted her face and hands, and yeah, that was really fun to do. I still think she would be an incredible Katsuine.
me too.
Elida's cool, but
I'm wondering if
yeah.
I'm wondering if maybe we're not going to get a Cadsuane now. Like I would have thought it would have went the other way. Like I was convinced until they announced Elida that Elida was going to be in it, that we were not going to get an Elida and she would be Cadsuane. But
yeah,
they keep subverting my expect basically if I have a theory, it's going to be wrong.
Yeah, I love Katsuine. I'd be really bummed if she wasn't depicted, but I still have my headcanon, so
Yeah, I would like. She's a great character, and I think there isn't really anyone else that fills that role. But sadly, we're a little bit of a ways off from her.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really fun to do that painting. Shure actually reached out to me and talked with me for a bit about that, and then she shared it on Twitter and
yes,
Facebook,
I remember that.
It was really really cool.
That's
she
awesome.
Like shared my art page, so that was super awesome because I'd liked her work for a long time. So
she's amazing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her the first time I saw her was in the Exorcism of Emily Rose. She played like a lawyer or some shit. She was during the court scenes.
But she always steals like every scene that she's
in.
Yeah, she just
absolutely
like should be the focus.
I forgot to introduce our new character here. So I forgot how to pronounce his name. Garmelli, Garmelli. Yeah, but it's Billy Boyd.
Yeah. I know.
It's fantastic. So now we've had Dominic Moynihan and Billy Boyd.
I love the drawings that he was doing. Also, like, how did you get those done that fast? Like, a really good sketcher.
He's a fairy. Come on.
Yeah, ancient fae. I thought it was just hysterical. Like, you know.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Fucking wonderful. I really hope Billy Boyd saw like this and knows that that's what his character is doing. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, that's so fucking funny. The background here is exactly how I imagine the Feywild, and we're playing one of my regular campaigns that we're playing in. We're in the Feywild, and like this is perfection here. I also love how there's like a river going through the air.
Yeah, it's so dreamy and fun. Like it's really cool. It'd be really fun to do those background paintings as an artist. It's one of the things I wanted to do as a kid, is like just do background painting art for movies, and because some of them are so beautiful.
The landscapes and all of this have been fantastic.
Yeah, because the character art, you look at it, it's beautiful, it's simple, and it has so much
Skinny Grog.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Skinny Grog. He still has his beard, so it's not just skinny. It's like he's so weak he can't walk.
No.
He's so depressed. All right, big boy. There's one of the songs that they do, I think it's in this episode. They ended up doing at a karaoke during one of their live watches at like one of their houses when the show premiered. I forgot.
Oh no.
That's funny.
Rowing him down the river is perfect. Yeah, it was this song. It's called Making My Way. That's fantastic.
Oh God.
Grog reminds me. What did I watch? The Bad Batch. He reminds me a lot of what's his name from the Bad Batch. The other big guy. He blows stuff up. Crush. No. Gnomengarden.
Yeah, I don't remember the wolf chewing on him. It's just
Like a doorstop.
Can't
Clearly, he
remember.
was a very good boat. Like what?
apparently.
Wow, I can't remember any Hunter. Wrecker. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Yes, Wrecker. Glenn too. You got me. Wrecker. Yeah, he's a very similar character, except Wrecker's a explosive expert. I feel like Grog would like explosive too if he knew how.
Oh
to use
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I finished watching The Bad Batch a couple days ago, and I was like, since I've been watching so much Vox Machina, every time Wrecker speaks, I would just hear Grog in my head and see Grog. So
He would love to make things go boom. It's true.
yeah. The story of this season has been really good too. I like how they're very similar to, not to just immediately throw it back to Wheel of Time, but the scope of from season 1 to season 2 is exploded in a very similar way to how from book 1 to book 2 of the Wheel of Time did. Like we went from the scope was basically 1 or 2 characters and the one town, and now they're all over the world. They go to all over multiple worlds in this case now with this episode.
Yeah. Well, and that the typical like heroes group journey of season 1, and then having it, you end where usually fantasy stories end, where they're all being awarded or something.
Yeah.
And then having that all blow up and then giving the world so much more depth and jumping into it. And I feel like each season has given these characters and this world so much more depth to it.
Yeah.
Like I could watch 100 seasons of the show.
Oh yeah. And speaking of the actors and characters that gave this more depth, on a sad note, this was the last episode that aired before Lance Reddick died. He had finished recording this season, but like he died. Yeah, he died a couple of weeks after this episode came out.
Yeah.
Very gelatinous QB.
Yeah, yeah.
The all of the freaking acting in this show is fantastic, though. I mean, obviously they're all professional voice actors, and in some cases just professional actors in general, but they're still very, very good. If it wasn't for the it's not just that it's good animation, it's that they are able to show a lot of emotion in it that I really appreciate.
Yeah, and that the animation follows it so well. I think one of my favorite things about it is that they were all struggling, and so they just started recording their D&D sessions, and that it was so creative and so well done, and they were all just so naturally good that it revived all their careers and launched all of them to be extremely successful. And it's just such a fairy tale story for artistic types to be like, just do what you love and people will flock to it. That's not necessarily always true, but
I mean, it helps that they're good people, and
well, and they got on things at the right time. They were on Twitch as it was starting to boom, and like they were doing the pizza parties and watch parties just as people were starting to really like get into that, and so it lined up in that way too, and getting that following. And D&D has finally become so popular that it's like it's no longer a weird thing. It's kind of weird if you don't play D&D.
We won. The nerds won. We won.
Yeah.
Glenn, that's one of my favorite roles. I didn't watch The Wire until like I'm going to say 6 or 7 years ago, because I kept getting stuck when it moved to season 2, because season 2 was so weird at the docks, like the difference. That was really good.
I
always find watching shows in Maryland to be weird.
Yeah.
Where I'm originally from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they get the landscapes often very wrong.
That's how it was with me with New York for a very long time.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, that's not New York. That's Chicago. That's not New York either.
Right. Well, I think there was an X-Files episode that actually took place in the town I grew up in, which is about 45 minutes west of DC. And there are no natural lakes in Maryland, and it's a coastal state, but there are no natural lakes. And so they're all handmade, and there are no big lakes in the town that I grew up in. And the episode starts it was like on the docks of Germantown, and I was like, "There's no docks in Germantown."
Oh man, you haven't seen The Wire, Skeeter? You definitely got
to watch it.
Really good. It is really good.
I mean, freaking not just Lance Reddick either. Lance Reddick either. Freaking Idris Elba. Fucking what's his name?
I love him so
Michael Kenneth Williams.
Yeah.
Also who passed away.
Who also played Chalky White in Boardwalk Empire, which I like.
Yeah.
So good.
So many good actors.
It did get the vibe of Baltimore pretty quickly.
Season 2 is still just a little like, when I watch it, I'm just like, that's fine, but it's so good.
It's funny too, because Idris Elba was way younger, obviously. Mm-hmm. It's joking about a while ago, and in season 1, he doesn't have a good American accent, and you can really hear it.
Yeah,
it's funny.
And Baltimore has a really interesting accent. There are a lot of different accents in Maryland, even though it's a tiny state. And Baltimore almost has its own accent compared to the rest of the state. And like you would know a Marylander's from there if they say like, I'm from Maryland, and they don't pronounce the T, it's Baltimore. So
they don't pronounce T's and I's, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, and so it's like wash is also a thing they do, like in the washroom. So it was really interesting for me because I would travel and people were like, oh, Maryland, Baltimore. I'm like, I'm not from Baltimore. I'm from outside DC.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like if you travel anywhere else and you say you're from New York, you're from Manhattan. If you're from Maryland, you're from Baltimore.
Right.
Yeah, that's always what it is.
Hey, what if I want to be from Annapolis? Yeah. Where all those boat people go. Ebony's from Maryland too.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't.
But she grew up on the Eastern Shore. So almost different cultures completely.
She's all over the place so often because not so much anymore, but because her husband was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Navy.
Yeah. Well, if you ask her about potato pie, Maryland potato pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's been saying she's got to come back for an episode or something.
Yeah.
Oh, she has to for Wheel Time.
Yeah, she's got to come back for a Wheel Time episode.
Amanda Makepeace is also a Marylander.
I love Amanda. Another amazing artist. I just got something from her from Multiverse.
Yeah, she's amazing. It's funny because we all kind of like converged and we were talking there and we were like, wait a minute, like the Spider-Man meme. We were like, we're all from Maryland. It's one of those states where you travel all over and you bump into Marylanders. Minnesota is the same way, like, and they all know Cooper, like, or his dad.
That shot was the shot of the city with the like volcano popping out of the middle was very Isengard-y.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or Mordor-y.
It's got that strong Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, we even have the disembodied floating red orby person that they're talking to.
Yeah, and there's absolutely uses for like computer animation and algorithms because the dragons, you can tell, are
very different.
Completely hand drawn. There's hand drawing over them, but there's some like use of Blender and which
3D stuff.
Yeah, Blender is what's used for like Arcane, things like that.
Okay. They Arcane is gorgeous too.
Yeah, one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen. So in that, there are animation things that kind of help bridge those little gaps. But the more that people do the bits of animation, the smoother and the more realistic it's gonna look. When a computer really just fills it in, it doesn't look.
Glenn, you fucking, that's it. Now that's gonna be stuck in my damn head. Son of a bitch.
We just watched it with our kids, and they were like
Aw.
not aware of any of the memes, and
The
so we were
memes.
like, okay. We just watched the second movie, and so we're like, okay. So Cooper and I were both like waiting to be like, did you know that Vigo?
Oh yeah. You could do that with them because they won't know.
Yeah,
Perfect.
but we do it at the same time. We try to like do it at the same time. Yeah, and when we watch it with all of our friends, we do that too. We like all turn to each other and be like, "Did you know?"
You know, everyone knows. Those are my favorite memes when it's like, you know, it's just like watching Lord of the Rings with someone for the first time, and it gets to like, you know, Vigo kicking it, and they're like,
"Yeah, did you say it?
Resist,
So excited
resist.
to say it." Yeah, I love all the Christopher Lee's information. Like he was so cool. Like
Christopher Lee was. I think I've talked about this before, but he was there. All right, so there was a movie that came out with Henry Cavill and the guy that plays Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
It was really good.
It was really good.
It was really good.
That's a real thing, though.
Yeah.
And Christopher Lee was in it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a spy.
Yeah, and he started a heavy metal band at 90
when he was like 70.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of his like facts are so cool.
We're gonna just let this play right into the next episode. I'll get the timer going for the next episode when it starts, which is now.
It's understandable why Arcane's budget was almost the same of the Wheel of Times. Like the amount of work that goes into something like that is just incredible.
Computer generation in art like that is expensive, and I mean not just that, but also the actors too. But I'm sure the majority of that budget was invested into the computer, the art side of it, the animation side of it.
Because they did modeling, and then they drew like each keyframe. This is something like it could take a day's work just to do a second, like 1 second.
Wow.
Because
and Ella Purnell.
Yeah. All the voice acting in that's incredible.
Oh yeah. I just love Ella Purnell. She's so good in. We did the Fallout one. She was amazing in that.
I love her Disney princess eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is a chore. I wanted to do animation, and I just didn't have the I didn't have the patience. You know, like all my detail work, like I didn't have the patience for animation.
What else did she do? I know she's in Arcane. She did that. There was something else that she did that I was like, oh shit. Oh, Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. She was also in.
I love that the fairy version of him too is so much like a satyr. Like he has like a pot belly, and he's small and like has little horns, and
it's like they took a satyr and a leprechaun and put them together.
Yeah, he's not like beautiful, like
no,
you know, gorgeous. And like I'm, you know, reading Akatar, and there's all these gorgeous fairies everywhere, and so it's nice to. I love when they're like weird looking, like,
little weird looking leprechaun satyrs.
Yeah, I mean, like ugly cats are also my favorite. Like when they're the weirdest looking animals are like the best, the sweetest. The precious.
Oh yeah. Speaking of weird animals, what can I do for you?
Yes,
he jumped off. Oh, there he is.
He's back.
My Keyleth is being very hyper right now, and I didn't trust that she wouldn't just knock over everything because she's in tiny raptor mode.
Luna, this is hyper for Luna right now. This is hyper for him. You can't sit in front of the. There you go. Go back to your bed.
Luna can sit where Luna wants.
Well, if he sits in front of the monitor, he can't see anything.
You can look around. You just
go wherever he wants. He had a little bit of a hair mat before, so there's currently a half a cat in my in my garbage can next to my computer here.
I haven't gotten Kiki into brushing yet. She wants to eat the brushes more than anything else. Pie, my last cat, she loved brushes. She was all about it.
I don't know what 19 is in human years, but that's a very old cat. That cat is
Yeah.
older than all of us.
Yes, they were saying Akator, not
Akatar,
Avatar.
is a Court of Thorn and Roses.
Yeah.
I struggled with the first book, and then once I made it through the first book, I like devoured the rest of it really quickly.
All right, Luna could sit wherever he wants. He chose his bed this time. So.
Yeah, I'm on the third book. I think it's funny that people call the series like fairy porn because there's not that many sex scenes for quite a while. Like the first book has one sex scene.
Yeah.
And it was really short. I was like, really? This is what people are calling fairy porn. Same thing with Fourth Wing. There was one sex scene in the first book and people were like, it's dragon porn. Like, no, it's not. First of all, you don't see the dragons have sex. and second of all, like,
that would be rough.
Yeah, one for biting, one for brushing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, and
or
here's
just a brush. I don't mind her biting.
Two of our new people for this episode. Where are they? I have.
I hear those.
Yeah.
No.
I love this woman's name, Jayla Lavender Nicholas. I just like that her middle name there is Lavender.
I love when you can see little things about the voice actor in the animation. I mean, they don't always know the voice actor when they do the animation, but like she has big
especially
eyes,
for the smaller ones.
Yeah.
The Sam Riegel's daughter has done 2 characters now, and you could definitely see her in both of them.
And just the chat, like I think though I will say the sex scenes in Fourth Wing and Akatar so far have been very feminist, like very pro-feminine on female pleasure and accurate. I think it's funny, like Fourth Wing, the writer is also very short and her husband is very tall, and so like they test out to see if the positions actually work.
If that's possible.
There is a moment in one of the scenes where they go to like do something and it's just he's too tall and they have to reposition, and I was like, oh my god, I've never been so seen in my life.
That's
so I think that's why those women love those series so much, is that it's like, oh wow, this is the kind of thing that I wish my partner would do with me.
Yeah. And then, like you just said, they feel seen from things that like are more, I don't want to say, I hesitate to use the word realistic, but it puts a level of realism where, it feels like they feel like people.
Yeah. Well, also if just like actual organs are named that you usually don't get named, it's nice to be like, like the body works in multiple ways, and it's nice to have that acknowledged.
Especially like you said, like one of the main things in Hollywood for a long time was never depicting women enjoying sex.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they're getting away from that. You would see there's a really interesting Netflix documentary on that. I forgot what it's called. Kevin Smith has a bit in it though, and if you search Kevin Smith on Netflix, it often will come up.
Yeah.
Even though he's only in it for like 10 seconds. I'll remember the name in like 10 minutes and shout it out. Don't worry.
Looks like I'm getting a cat.
Yay!
Oh,
and a Cooper.
You're saying hi.
Yay!
Oh my god!
So
Stop it!
He's such a baby.
He's so cute.
She just said, "I'm just a baby."
Oh my gosh! She's holding still. I don't think she held still at all last time.
No, she's getting bigger, so she's getting sleepier.
Cutie.
Yeah, I really love that they explored this with their dad.
And I also I like their relation. I like how they depict their relationship with their father too.
Mm-hmm. And that they both have a different relationship.
Oh yeah, very. Speaking, I forgot to do we know who our uncle what's his name is? Do we know who he is? Oh, I didn't put his picture in here because I'm a bad person. Where did it go?
This doesn't make you a bad person.
It does.
It just means you forgot something.
I remember making the picture, but it's not here.
It's what you get for not letting Luna sit where Luna wants.
That's true. His essence infected my computer and got rid of the file. All right. Anyway, it's Henry. It's Henry Winkler.
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say
I love
it's
him.
The fonts. Yeah.
Yes, it is the Fonz. Though for whatever reason the picture is gone. Anyway, yes, it is the Fonz. They every episode I feel like they find another reason, another thing that drives home the point of when they said they were reaching for the stars every time they asked for like someone to do a voice acting, and everyone said yes.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing because it also shows how many people like can be into D&D, and I think the reason why D&D really has gravitated to so many people is it's using your imagination to get to go with your friends into a world that you've all created and get to have fun together and not be yourselves for a bit, but be little parts of yourselves that you either wish you were or you'd like to be more, or it'd be fun to be even though society doesn't let you. And I think that's, it's so cool.
Yeah. Especially for the actors that are our age. Like a lot of them, and a little older, I would say probably into the 50s. Maybe the 60-year-olds, like the people that played D&D when they were younger, but like, they were still in the era when it was like, the satanic scare stuff,
right?
And things like that. And now, though I'm Henry Winkler, I feel like it was more like his agent was like, no, trust me, this is going to be good.
Yeah, or his kids might have played it or something.
Oh yeah, that's true. A lot of actors you see like, oh yeah, my kids told me that I had to do this or I would get in trouble. Oh yeah, no, I've played D&D with people in their 60s and 70s. I'm just thinking of like, people who were children or, between the ages of like, 12 and 18 when D&D was like big in like the 70s and 80s, but it was the satanic panic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I was starting to play it, it was still there, and that was in the late 90s.
In the Midwest, that was well into the 90s, if not into the 2000s here in the Bible Belt.
My cousin played in the 80s, and then like when I started playing, my grandmother was like, "Are you doing that Satan stuff like Christopher used to do?"
Yeah, we played with people all different ages, but that was, my mom had talked about that because she was in her 20s in the 80s, and how it was just such a ridiculous thing that went after all fantasy art stuff. Like, it's just kind of wild.
You got to check the Tom Hanks's first movie credit was in like he was in it was like an infomercial type movie that was about Dungeons and Dragons, where like the kids all summon a demon and they kill like one of them kills the other one, and it's like a very anti D&D movie, but it's ridiculous and hilarious. And Tom Hanks is like 18 or 19 or something like that.
That's funny.
But like he's still the same voice, but he looks very, very different. But you could hear his voice and the way he says things and like his cadence, like it's there.
Yeah, the comment about the father's racism, you're gonna wonder about their mom. I mean, it doesn't mean that they had a good relationship.
Yeah.
And just because he says he loved her doesn't mean that she loved him back.
Yeah. It reminds me of a little bit of the way they did the Spock. Like it's a little darker because like Spock's dad in Star Trek ends up being like, not racist, but it's just, his emotionless Vulcan side. But like the way they kind of depict the Spock and his family and stuff like that in all of the versions of Star Trek, I think they did pretty well in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek too. I liked their
those too.
Take on it.
Yeah, I grew up with all Star Trek. Up until the Paramount streaming service, I'd seen every episode of Star Trek, of every series. That's crazy. Some of them multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, the original one is just. I feel like I tried to go back and watch it again. I think it's just a little too dated for me, and I don't have a lot of the nostalgia for it because I didn't watch it growing up.
Yeah, it's pretty funny if you like look at how ridiculous, how serious it tries to be and how ridiculous it was. Um, but we actually watched some of it with our kids and they really liked it. But it's a good opportunity to pause stuff and be like, you don't talk to people that way, or we
Yeah.
don't talk to women that way. We don't do this and that. And that's a lot of funny prosthetics on that person's face.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a bummer burning D&D books. That's, I mean, especially early D&D books. Like you can't get those editions anymore.
No. The ones when it was just chainmail or advanced Dungeons and Dragons, like back in the day.
And yeah, burning books is evil. If you don't like
no
a book,
good,
put it back on a
just
shelf.
leave it alone. The all of the bird sounds that are in the Feywild, by the way, are Matt Mercer and what's her name? Megan, right? Yeah, Megan.
Wow.
Megan, their bird.
Oh.
Oh.
No, it's their pet bird. They recorded their pet bird and then just, put it in a thing, changed it a bunch.
That's so funny. I love that though. Like it's so much of a use of resources that they have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love those little things that you catch and stuff like that. Oh, actually, speaking of little inserts of things, the Vulcan Live Long and Prosper with the V, that Leonard Nimoy actually came up with that based off of a Jewish ritual that he saw when he was a kid. He saw the rabbis doing a Jewish ritual. I forgot what it was called. And I think he said they invoke the female form of God to bless everybody or something like that. I don't remember what the ritual is called. But during the ritual, the rabbis made that symbol, but they did it by joining fingers together like in a circle and all put their hands together like that. So when they asked him to come up with something, that was the first thing he thought of and went like that. And that was his little insert into the lore. But just cool that Leonard Nimoy was the one that did that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is really cool.
I was watching a documentary on Star Trek, and it was like they had a bunch of the older actors like Leonard Nimoy, though. What's his name? Fucking Kirk.
Oh, Shatner.
Shatner. Yeah, William Shatner. He was not there, which was noticeable.
Yeah.
He usually isn't when some of the other cast is there.
Yeah, well, it is understandable.
Yeah, and then they had a couple of the new ones, like Chris Pine was there, like had a little bit, and it was interesting. He was
a great Kirk. And
me too. I love those movies.
We've now gotten Paramount. For a while, I didn't want to get it because I was mad that they made it Star Trek exclusively Paramount, and it made it really hard for people like my grandmother who loves Star Trek to be able to get it and watch all of the shows. So I didn't watch it for a while, but we started watching Strange New Worlds, and like. I love it so much.
So
like
good.
Ensign Mount is so amazing. If you've never watched Star Trek, watch Strange New Worlds. Like
Absolutely.
That's a great introduction to it. It's adventurous, it's funny, it's scary, it's sad.
It's got such a great comedy line in it where a lot of Star Trek doesn't have that, and this really does.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like my brother loves DS9, and I just like it's so dry sometimes.
I like it too.
Really funny, but it's
very, very dry.
Yeah.
The balance. Oh yeah, the balance of comedy to action to drama to it can be interesting to see them play with that. Like they do it in this show very, very well.
Yeah. And this show really has such a perfect balance of like comedy and seriousness. It makes you cry, it makes you worry, it makes you laugh. Because life has funny moments.
Yeah. And then particularly in this episode, in this scene, the horror element is also there. Whew,
it's also sexy.
It's like got that dangerous, sexy fairiness kind of going on.
Yeah, kind of got that like vampire vibe. Like
seduction.
By the way, if you haven't seen Nosferatu,
I want to see it so bad.
It was so good.
I have to no one that's currently living in this house other than me likes horror movies. So I have one friend that will go to the movies with me. So I have to for a horror movie, I have to message her and see if she wants to go.
Yeah, Cooper doesn't like him either, but I convinced him, and we actually went on Christmas to go see it. So it was,
I'm jealous.
but it was more like paid homage to the original 1922 film. It was very artsy. It was very artsy in the way that it's made. The scenes are beautiful. The color palettes are gorgeous. The costuming, and then it's also very suspenseful. I wouldn't say it's scary as much as it's suspenseful.
Okay. I love how Laura does Vex. Vex is one of my favorite characters in this show, easily.
Me too. Yeah, very, very unseelie.
Is that the guy from Heroes? Oh, the one that's doing I think he is for I do have his thing too. Where's his there it is. Senthil Ramamurthy. I had his IMDb open just a little while ago because I think he was in Heroes. Yeah, he was in Heroes. Mohinder. He was Mohinder in Heroes.
Yeah. I would love to see an alternate reality version of like what if she did stay, and like like what would happen. It was just really interesting.
Watching I yesterday or the day before, I was watching the what ifs of Marvel, and it made me start thinking of I want what ifs of like every show now. I just want.
Yeah. He would be a good. Rathbin. There we go.
Oh yeah, I could see him being Robin.
Just like all the other dudes.
Yeah.
He says no and is bitch immediately.
Yep, immediately. At least he's a villain.
Yeah. But he's such an interesting character. I'm like, oh my god, I want to know more about him. Like,
I
want to know his story, and they kill him. There's so many characters in this that are so interesting, and through their adventures, they just end up having to kill them pretty quickly. But I'm like, oh no, there could be at least like a couple episodes more about this character, if not like a season.
It's very D&D though. Like your DM comes up with this cool villain that's like got a really interesting story and maybe like has an interesting backstory, and the party just kills them immediately.
Yeah. I had a friend. We did this. We did a Waterdeep campaign, and she made this store keep, like, we just ended up going down a street that she didn't plan for us to go down, so she's like quickly came up with a shopkeeper, and she made him obsessed with purple, so like everything in his store was purple, even if it wasn't actually like he painted it purple. But she did this really funny voice, because we'd be like, do you have this book of this? And he'd be like, is it purple? and she made him so interesting that we were like, Emily, we have to come back to this guy. And she's like, I have to write all these things about this character now.
You never know what the party's gonna latch onto.
Yeah. So now I'm kind of like, do you want a Tumblr? But like, is it purple? Like, about everything.
Start collecting purple things to bring back to him.
Yeah, we did, and like even to get a better price on things, we'd like, can we paint it purple? Like, does anyone have purple paint? Like,
I just remembered something I wanted to ask you before when we were talking about animation. Have you seen the Level 1 show on Amazon yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's like an anthology less than a show. Like each episode is its own thing. Kind of like on Netflix they did Love and Robots.
I loved that incredibly.
The same animation team, the same story team did this. It's called Level 1, and each episode is a different video game from like the 80s and 90s.
Okay. I think
and some of them more recent. It's really good.
Watch it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Bump that up to the top of the watch list. We haven't even watched second season of Arcane. We've just been.
Oof. Well, I mean, some of these episodes are between like 7 and 15 minutes long.
Yeah, which we loved Death Robots for that partly that reason. I had a hard time with it at times because it was just so violent, especially season 1, like sexually violent.
Oh yeah.
But it was still beautifully written, and I think it's still important to tell those stories.
100%.
A bit of a like,
get
ready for that,
Yeah, and then you have to decompress.
Yeah.
I suggest if you ever have to decompress from anything, just watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That's always my suggestion.
And it's funny too because like Castlevania is one of my favorite shows like ever. The animation.
That's a rough
is
show.
Incredibly beautiful, and it's a rough show.
Mhm.
But it's I'm very few shows will I just actually watch over and over again, and that's one of them that like I will put on in the background, especially when I'm doing my vampire paintings, which I have a couple of vampires, but I'd like to do more vampire paintings. I almost sent you a couple of them, and I was like, no, these are too gothic, and they're departure from all the other art, so I'll just send you that. But it really reminded me of the Nosferatu stuff, like very same kind of vibe. But yeah, Castlevania is one of the best animations ever. The
So
story is
good.
incredibly well done.
Yeah. I like the
And he's dead.
no, yeah. I like the animation and the stuff in the games too.
Yeah.
The game, yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I had a hard time getting friends to watch it though, because it was like they're literally dead babies in the first episode.
Yep, it's very dark.
Have I done a lot of sci-fi stuff? I
that's a
don't
good
do
question.
a ton of sci-fi stuff, but I have done some. I did a cyberpunk piece
Mm.
a year or two ago. The model is actually my cousin. Um, she did this cool like a light up modeling shoot, and I was like, hey, can I paint some of those? And I ended up doing for JordanCon for the 2020 live stream JordanCon that they did. I did a live stream
COVID-Con.
Yeah, COVID-Con. I did a live stream of painting that and then finished it later. And but I'd like to do more. I have a hard time with sci-fi because it's very it tends to be very geometrical and architecture heavy and tech heavy, and I'm a lot better at swords than I am at guns. And like I'm just better at painting fanciful stuff. It's just because I practice more at it. But yeah, I do think it would be fun. I had this thing that I did for a while with a writer friend of mine where I would do a painting and then she would write a short story based off of it.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And it was practice for both of us. Like, here's the theme. I do a thing. She does a thing. And I did this piece of like a character in this like crystal sci-fi armor running away from this like crystal, like super sci-fi city in the background that's, you know, in the fog with all the lights. And she wrote this really cool short story about this like assassins guild in kind of a cyberpunk world, and it was super cool. It's Kylie Kallemeyer. It's on her blog. I don't have a link for it, but she still has it up, I think. I'm trying to get her to come to JordanCon and promote her book and all of her stuff. She's an incredible writer, and I did some of her book covers as well. So.
Did you do Damsel in Distress?
I did do Damsel in Distress. Yeah,
that's a good one.
So we talked about doing
which subverts Damsel in Distress.
Yeah, like we talked about doing a 10th anniversary cover. I can't believe.
Oh my God, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, we did it in 2015.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God. That's
Time is
terrible. No. Well, and I, if anyone was in the watch party, I did stop the watch party. If you keep it might still play for you, so if you want to keep watching, go ahead, but we are not watching anymore.
Yeah.
That was
Damsel in Distress is a really good book. I would definitely buy it. It subverts the whole damsel trope. It's very funny, and it harks back to a lot of old mythology and fantasy stories that we're all told as kids, but it does it in a kind of a topsy-turvy way. It's about a girl named Damsel.
I posted the link to the
thing. It's about a girl named Damsel who keeps getting kidnapped by monsters, and so she looks for her fairy godmother to change her name because they think she's a damsel.
Damsel.
Yeah, it's a good kid's book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Denzel in Distress. Jason would find that funny. Yeah.
But that what I heard when you said Denzel, I thought Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Not Jason Denzel.
Oh yeah. I was thinking Jason Denzel. It's like they know each other. He'd probably find that funny. Yeah.
Well, so one of our new traditions that we started doing here is at the end of the show, we started doing our inside the Dragonmount interview with our guests. So I'm excited to do that with you because you haven't done these questions yet. But before we get to that, I want to share who our guest is going to be next week. And that is Sydney Brianna. She is an author who I met at Multiverse and was a ton of fun. And when this is how I got three or four people that were like, I want to do an episode with you. Was I would just when I would introducing like Dragonmount, like what we're doing, they were like, that sounds like fun. I want to do that.
Yeah.
and that she's another one of those people. She was a lot of fun. I hung out with her and her husband a bunch that weekend. They were fun people.
Yeah, Multiverse
so she'll be with us.
Great place to meet people.
Oh yeah, Multiverse was great. If you live in the Atlanta area or you can travel to Atlanta on a whim, check out Multiverse. Go to multiversecon.com. It's fantastic. The convention was a lot of fun, and all of the people that were there were awesome. Anyway, speaking of awesome things, let's see what I got floating around over here. Yay. Welcome to Inside the Dragonmount studio.
I feel like you need a pipe, Tom.
I really want to get I want to get a cosplay costume so I can look like James Lipton.
I loved James Lipton's.
Oh, me too.
And I think you had said before, the Robin Williams episode was your favorite, like one of mine too.
Yeah.
Like
I want to see they said that was like a 6-hour taping that they had to cut down to like, I think it's supposed to be a 45-minute and they cut it down to an hour and a half. I want to watch the whole thing.
Me
like
too.
I want to watch the whole thing.
Yeah, I could just show us the tapes. Like,
yes, please. Yeah. I want to watch it so bad.
Yeah, I wish he was still around that we could do those kind of interviews with some of the actors today.
Yeah.
That are so
seeing famous. Like, especially because I think that one was like 20 something years ago. Like see him do the interview again would be very interesting. Mm-hmm. For those who don't know what we're talking about the inside the actor's studio with James Lipton. James Lipton was a teacher at Juilliard, an acting teacher at Juilliard, and the audience that he did it in front of was his acting class of that year, of whoever was in the class at that time. And they were always like, pretty big named actors in the that he did first thing. And he's done some ensembles, like he did the entire voice acting staff of the Simpsons and Family Guy and things like that. But it's usually just one-on-one. It was a lot of fun. But speaking of just one-on-one and a lot of fun, Ariel, your first question is, what is your favorite dinosaur?
I know it's super basic bitch of me, but I really think velociraptors are super cool.
They are. They're awesome. Yeah. Are you talking Velociraptor like Jurassic Park Velociraptor?
Both, like the real ones and the Jurassic Park, because I was a Jurassic Park kid, like loved it as a kid. And that really got me into dinosaurs. But yeah, I think they're really, like, the more we learn about them and the more I'm like, oh, they were like tiny with feathers and like little scavengers. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Well, the ones in Jurassic Park were real too. They were just not called Velociraptors.
Right.
Yeah. The movie studio didn't think that people would be scared of Deinonychus, so they changed it. Which was appropriate, I will say.
His name is Deinonychus. He has a wife,
All right, so what is your favorite word?
Oh, that's a hard one. That's what she said.
I'm glad you said it and I didn't have to.
I don't have ADHD. No. I don't know. I don't.
Murder chicken.
Murder chicken. I think it really depends on the mood that I'm in. It really depends on who I'm talking to.
How about right now?
Yeah.
Right now my mind is blanking, but I think creativity, because it is it is such an all-encompassing thing, and it is something that speaks to the human soul, as well as it can be anything from just drawing, doodling on a paper, to how you style your hair that day, to just looking at clouds and studying them, to it can be something that little children can enjoy all the way to old age, and it's something I hope we never lose as a species.
Should put into all aspects of your life,
Yeah,
creativity.
always be creative. You don't have to be good at it.
No.
You need to get rid of that perfection.
Yep.
I'm not good, so I can't do it. Like, no.
You don't get good until you try.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys see my art, and I'm still like, here are all the flaws, and this is why I'm not as good
I don't
as,
see them.
but so that anybody can do that, and so it's, if I can do it, then, and I'm hard on myself, then anyone should be able to do it.
And practice.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like to say, like, I had no social life as a kid, and that's why I'm as good at art as I am. Like, that's what I did. I drew.
All right. Well, then, in the same vein of what is your favorite word, what is your least favorite word?
It's changed. It used to be, can I cuss?
Yeah.
It used to be cunt, because for the reasons that I agreed very much with Robin Williams, and he said it was very harsh, and it was often used as a very mean word, and but I think that now I kind of love it. Like, that's one that's changed. I think I agree with Cooper. Should.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's put so much pressure, and it's something I say a lot to myself. I should have done this. I should have done it faster. I should have managed my time better. I should have done this and this, and it's just kind of living in the past and being hard to yourself on something you can't change.
Yeah.
And then us being for the more usage of the cunt word has come from our exposure to not just Brits but Scots mainly. They say it way more.
Yeah.
They say it way more.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I heard that when we were in Scotland.
Yeah, and that's part of why I love it, is it's now become such a fun, familiar word, and it's not necessarily just like bitch. It's not necessarily it has to be something feminine.
Exactly.
Anyone can be a cunt.
Yes, exactly.
The table can be a cunt.
When they start, the way they used to use basically all of the feminine describing or feminine sided words to be derogatory, and now they're kind of being taken back as not. I like that.
Yeah.
I promise this is your last word related question. There's a lot of them in a row right there. But do you have a favorite like fantasy or fictional curse word replacement, like frack?
I do love frack. I liked Frel because I love Farscape. Farscape was so good. Yeah. Cooper hasn't seen Farscape, and I was just like, what? I know, like it's on our list. We need to watch it. What was it they said in Battlestar Galactica? I really liked. For custom.
Other than frack?
Yeah, I liked frack was really good. I mean, Blood and Bloody Ash is good, but it just like it feels like so long to say.
Yeah. I love Mother's Milk in a Cup.
Yeah, Mother's Milk in a Cup is good. I do really like cussing in a way that's not using our typical cuss words. Like jumping Jesus on a pogo stick. Like it's just it doesn't make any sense, and it's silly and it's funny, and you can say it in front of anybody. And it's if you stop, you go, wait a minute, like you go, wait, and then you have to stop and be like, and try and picture that. It's like, so I love.
You should never jump on a pogo stick with sandals.
Yeah, right. You slip right off. I think that those are really fun. The ones that aren't over the top. I feel like Blood and Bloody Ashes gets used so much, but I mean that's because I'm embroiled in the Wheel of Time community.
Oh yeah.
Forking, yes.
Yeah. The Good Place.
The Good Place, one of the best shows ever seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an everyday sound that you like?
I really miss the sound of the tree frogs, like
Oh.
at home, because Minnesota doesn't have that, and like the crickets at night, in the summer. That just like that sound is so peaceful, and it makes me think about like when I was a kid, walking out into a field at night and there being fireflies, and it's just so kind of magical.
We have a lot of frogs here, and
Yeah.
No.
they're fun to listen to.
Yeah, and I
I
don't even
grew up
mind
with
cicadas.
I could fall asleep at the drop of a hat with any sound because I grew up in New York. So my
Yeah.
nighttime sounds were mostly cars driving around.
Yeah. And thunderstorms. Love thunderstorms.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, love thunderstorms.
Both
Okay,
of
is
which we
there-
have a lot here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is there an everyday sound that you hate?
There's many of those.
Mhm.
Other people chewing. I cannot stand when there are two songs playing at one time, because I pick up on lyrics really, really quickly, and melody. So I'll be singing both of them in a mashup in my head. And my brain's already like that. I'll have like 3 or 4 songs and they're all mishmash. And sometimes I'm like, hey, this is really good. I should play it for people. But yeah, I just get really overwhelmed. Screaming babies. I will vacate an entire building if there's a screaming child.
I feel that.
Yeah.
That's why my children all have fur.
Yeah.
All right. So the next part that we're going to do are basically questions about characters, and it could be a character from anything. It doesn't have to be from the Wheel of Time necessarily, but
Yeah.
it could be from any TV, comic book, video game, whatever you want. Okay. Is there any character that you think would make a good roommate or the best roommate?
I mean, my immediate thought was like Trevor Belmont would be a terrible roommate, but but I feel like Alucard would be amazing. Like he would like do the dishes and make dinner and like I think he would be awesome. I think he'd be very cleanly.
Fair.
In that same vein, who would make the very worst roommate?
Tamlin in the Court of Thorn and Roses, because he's always destroying his study and destroying his house. Like every time he gets mad about something, he breaks everything. And I'm like, Tamlin, like you need a therapist. Stop scaring everybody.
That would be a lot to clean up. The bills would be never mind. That would be insane.
Yeah, he's very dramatic.
Have you like if thinking back, like maybe if you could think of your first one, or if you have one now, a fictional character who you would say is a crush for you, or you have a crush on?
I was like, I'm a romantic, and I had so many girl crushes as a kid. Like I've been thinking about this question for a bit though. Like every girl loved Sephiroth in the 90s, and I think I have
to pick just one.
Yeah, I'd have to pick just one. Like, what do you mean? Like, I think one of my very first crushes was like Jasmine, Princess Jasmine.
Okay.
I was just like, she's so pretty. Like, I love her attitude, and but I was like, I love Belle. Her reading books. My God, isn't the Beast like so beautiful once he's a human? And this is the problem with being bi, is like like you have so
everyone's on the table.
Everyone's a crush.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So if you had the opportunity to like have a job in a fictional world or align with a particular like entity, what would that be?
Yeah, I think I'd still be an artist, but I do like in the Fourth Wing world, like being able to be a dragon rider would be really cool. And being telepathically connected to your dragon is really cool. But also the fact that they're always working out. I love working out, and that would be really fun. It also kind of helped me stay fit. Yeah, Jasmine's it's a good crush. Yeah, I mean, it would be fun to, I think it would be fun to just explore being a cartographer would be really awesome in some
Mm.
of these fantasy worlds. Being able to do like maps for the worlds because they don't always have the
Which
ability to do that.
in a lot of the worlds that we've spoken about would be incredibly valuable.
Right, yeah.
we
Yeah.
take such advantage of maps in our world and how
Yeah.
useful they would actually be in a world where you don't no one knows what land masses look like or anything.
Yeah, like or like in the Cinderspire series by Jim Butcher, which I highly recommend, really good
So
series.
good. So good.
It's steampunk aeronauts, but I think like an ambassador to the cat society because there is a society of cats that talk. They have their own language in
Yep.
this world. And I think they're so cool.
They are
Like,
fantastic.
yeah.
They have the best attitudes.
That was the thing, like in Fourth Wing, the dragons are very much like cats. They kind of remind me of that same thing. So I highly recommend it if you like cats.
Speaking of, your cat has been the cutest
I
thing.
know.
Just
I know.
laying there
It's so
sleeping the whole
sweet.
time.
Count for the count.
Completely the opposite as
So
from when she was on with Cooper.
She's being such a baby.
So cute. Okay, and is there any kind of job or position you would never want to have from fantasy or science fiction?
Yeah. I feel like I don't know, I wouldn't want to, I'm very good at leading people, but I wouldn't want to be in charge. Which usually makes a good leader is when you don't actually want to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Sanitary work. Bless those people. They're amazing. They are incredible and I couldn't do it. I can't
Imagine being
even
the janitor at Avengers Tower after the Hulk.
I
goes
know.
in.
Like yeah, I can't even like throw stuff into our bin without I can't even put laundry in the washer without almost falling in it. So I know
Oh.
like, having to
That's funny. All right. Is there any portrayal of the afterlife from fiction that you wish were true?
Oh, I'm gonna my answers will align a little bit with Cooper because we are partners. We've been together for
That's fair.
almost 10 years, so it makes sense. But
Yeah.
the description of I love the afterlife in Wakanda. I think it's absolutely beautiful. The ancestors, that's incredible. But I will steal his answer in saying that it was maybe my answer first. That in the mini series, oh my god, it just went right out of my head.
I'm trying to remember what he said last week, or it was two weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
It's called it went completely out of my head. It's about a relationship with theology disguised as a monster story, and I won't tell you what kind of monster because if you know, then it kind of ruins the surprise. But it's very beautiful, and there's a conversation with two characters talking about what they think when they die, and one is very religious and one isn't, and one talks about the decomposition of the body and how each part of the organs shut down, and then the last things they see, and then becoming stardust and part of the universe. I think that's really beautiful. But
I remember him saying that now.
Yep.
Yes. But my final answer is if you've ever seen What Dreams May Come. I think that's
yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Really beautiful.
It is. Another Robin Williams movie too.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was one of my all-time favorite actors.
Oh yeah. I mean, how can you not love him?
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for indulging our curiosities with our little Inside the Dragonmount Studio segment here.
Yeah.
And remind everybody again, we're going to be hanging out with author Sydney Brianna, and you can check the video once I get it posted for links to her stuff. And thanks for hanging out with us, Ariel. It was a ton of fun. And I hope we see you again for Wheel of Time.
Yes, please.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to do that. I do want to quickly say I did do a 2025 calendar. So if you're looking for one still, it's on my website. It's like right on the main homepage. But I still have lots of those available if people want to get them. They're print on demand, so you know. If you want to keep up with my work, Patreon is the best place. But I am also now on Blue Sky and trying to kind of build a following there because Meta is awful.
Yes.
Yep.
And Twitter also.
Yep.
I posted the link to the
Thank you.
to the website in chat, and if you're watching this later, it will be below the video in the description.
You can find all my links, shops, everything's there.
Thank you, and say goodnight, Crystal.
Good night, Crystal.